How's it going, people, and welcome back to the channel. So this week is a little bit of a different video because me and Cody were supposed to go out fishing, and we were supposed to film a video where I was teaching Cody how to use a pole rod. He's never fished a pole rod before. He's only ever been on float or doing the pike fishing on a lure. So this week it was too hot, and instead of sitting in the sun all day burning to a crisp, I thought, why not go and do a different activity? And we thought of mini golf. Now, I've not played mini golf in God knows how many years, but we went there and we had a lot of fun. It was an Alice in Wonderland themed golf course, which, if you want me to, I will go back and film me and whoever doing the full course, and we can actually start a mini series reviewing mini golf courses around the Cheshire area, and I think that would be a good mini series. But anyway, after we went to the mini golf course, we sat back in the car and we realised that there was a driving range right next door. So we thought, do you know what? We'll go and get 50 balls each and we'll just go and have some fun. So that's what we did, and we really enjoyed ourselves. And that night, we ended up buying some irons off of Facebook Marketplace. It came with a bag. Basically, this is me and Cody just trying to get into golf a little bit. Right now, we are going to just stick to a driving range. We're not going to go to a golf course because we don't want to cause any problems. We don't want to, hit the ball way left or way right or possibly hit someone. It could be dangerous. So I don't want to put anyone in harm's way. So we're going to train at the driving ranges for maybe the next year, and then 2027 we could look at going to an actual golf course. I don't know the lingo. I've only just learnt the difference between irons, a sand wedge, and like a 3-wood, a 5-wood. So yeah, I am going to leave in the good clips of me making good contact with the ball, but I'm also going to leave in some of the bad clips of me not doing so well at hitting my target. So if anyone wants to leave any constructive criticism or anything like that, any advice on stance, how to swing, posture, anything like that, then it's always welcome. Just try not to rinse us too much in the comments because, yes, we do understand that we are terrible at swinging a golf club. But I'm going to let the video play on, and I hope you enjoy it. With Cody on day 2, I was trying to give him pointers on trying to bend his knees for his stance when he's with the ball, and then when he swings to not bend his knees and twist his upper body. It's hard to describe, but kind of like use your body as a bit of a spring so that it can help you bring that club round and connect with the ball a bit better. But I think he was taking it the opposite way around, in don't bend your knees and then bend your knees when you do your swing. And I was trying to tell him to try and build up his accuracy on smaller swings, and then when he's got his accuracy down, you can try and build up the power when you've got your accuracy to a point where you can, hit the ball straight. So just build up in small stages, but Cody gets bored quite quick, which is understandable. I get bored quite often as well. So I like to change things up, but he was constantly changing the clubs, and half of it for Cody, I was trying to just let him have a fun time, but also try and teach him things here and there. I do have to take into account that he's a lot younger than me, so he's not going to take everything on board a lot quicker and have as much passion to try and get like accurate and good as quick. Obviously, I'm not saying that he's not willing to learn, but he is still a teenager, so teenagers will do what they do. You're starting to get proper golfers' excuses now.
Yeah, difficult.
No, I know. Made me jump. Nice. By the way, we found this set on Facebook Marketplace, and it came with a load of random irons, different branded ones. We've got Wilson, Mitsubishi. I think that's like a cheaper brand. I'm not too sure. I don't know golf. There's a random Slazenger one, and then Mac Brad 2001. Up to now, I like the Wilsons, but I've been hitting more consistent with the... Is it Mac Brad that you're using, or is it the Mitsu ones? That's a Wilson.
I hate mine with Wilson though.
Oh, right. What are these ones I've been using?
This one? Is it 5? Yeah, 7.
Yeah, the Mac Brads.
Mac Brad's are good.
Yeah.
I prefer the Wilson. I
Not
like the
only
Wilsons and the Mac Brads.
The handle matches his shoes. So on day 2 for myself, it looks like I'm actually arched over a lot more than it feels when I'm holding the club stood over the ball. You can kind of see it in the footage here. I don't know whether it's worth me looking into plus 0.5 inch clubs or plus 1 inch clubs for myself. I am 6'3", even though I've heard that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But looking at the footage back, in some of the clips, this one's not too bad, but in some of the clips, you can definitely see how much it looks like I'm bent over. Maybe I'm not stood close enough to the ball, because I've also noticed where my head is, and I look directly down at the ball and then to the floor, it doesn't feel like I'm that far away from it. But again, looking back at footage, it looks like I could be half a step forward. And I don't bend my knees too much in this shot, but on day 3 of the range, I had watched Jack Joseph have his going from 0 to pro video or something like that, and he was getting tips from a pro golfer in a teaching session.
Nice.
So that gave me a lot of tips, and I tried to implement some of the technique and stance on day 3, which you'll see coming up soon. If anyone's got any tips on how I can change my stance to try and improve my shot, or maybe just have it so I'm not as hunched over when I'm trying to hit the ball, then that will be fantastic.
Just past the 100.
So this is day 3. This is the day after the night before that I was telling you about before, when I was watching Jack Joseph's video with his training with a professional, and I've tried to implement a couple of the tips and tricks that he gave to Jack in his video, and I'm trying to bend my knees a little bit more. It feels like I'm bending them more than it looks in this shot, but you can definitely see from this shot that it looks like I'm hunched over quite a lot. But that could also be to do with the fact that I also feel like I look like I'm stood a little bit further away from the ball than I should be. On this day 3 as well, I wasn't confident before trying to hit the ball off the grass, off the turf. So instead of going off of the tee, I thought, right, today I'll also try and learn how to hit it off the floor without obviously making big divots in the grass when I finally progressed to going on the grass, because I'd feel embarrassed if I just dug my driver straight into the grass. So knowing that I won't always have the tee every time I'm hitting, I wanted to try and learn with that. And it felt like as I was progressing through the day, that I've become really good at, in my eyes anyway, of hitting it off the turf instead of off of the tee, and I kind of switched places from the day before. But then I kind of called myself out on it and then attempted off the tee again, and I hit it really well off the tee for my standards, and then I couldn't hit it off the grass. But my accuracy had definitely increased on day 3 with some of the tips, and I was definitely able to hit it more accurately. The 100 marker that you can see in the distance was my target for the day. But then a couple of times, so that I didn't kind of zone in on one place too much, I also wanted to change the marker up every so often to a flag that you can't quite see in this shot, to try and make sure that, right, I'm not just able to hit it straight on at that 100, I can also hit it towards another target, just so that I can try and key down on being able to, aim for different places from one angle, or just so that I'm not constantly going to one spot. Because if you constantly go to one spot, in my eyes, you just going to get good at that. But then if there's a different angle or a tricky angle, you're not going to have trained that part. I take that back. You know that 100 has been my target all day. I take it back.
Okay.
I'm just inconsistent. On day 3 as well, me and Cody quickly ran to Sports Direct just before we turned up at the range so that we could both get a golfing glove. And Cody was suffering quite bad the day before with blisters on his left and right hand. We are both right-handed swingers. And I had one small blister forming, but it wasn't too bad. It didn't get to the point of becoming a blister. It was just irritated skin. And I quickly learned that that was because I was just gripping the club too hard. I changed my grip the next day, and it definitely felt a lot better. So my problem was with just death gripping the club. Cody's was death gripping the glove for his right hand, but then his left hand, I do think that he just has soft hands. So I think that was just the normal swing in a golf club without a glove on.
Extra snap.
Well, that's great. Nice.
Don't be out.
But that has been the video of me and Cody trying to get into a new sport. And yeah, let us know what you think. I don't think it's a terrible start. I thought that we would suffer a lot more with embarrassing ourselves. It took a lot for us to actually go to a driving range as well. So we have been to two different driving ranges up to now. The first one I really enjoyed because you could play mini games on the board, so that made it entertaining. Whereas the second one was just bare bones. They had like a small horse caravan transporting thing that they turned into a cafe. So my partner went and got an ice cream from that, and it just made the experience a little bit more fun for my partner to come along and read a book, have an ice cream. But yeah, if you've got any helpful tips, then please leave them in the comments. And thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.